Pete Howland. This is my home office. Thanks for paying me a visit. All right, you want to ask customers what? Look, let's take a look at this for a minute. When customers come in, I think what we ought to do is ask them, hey, when do you need your car back? How much time to have with it? And I have expressed this view to thousands of service advisors. I've been able to work with advisors all across the country. For the most part, to get some pushback. And the pushback, in fact, I can hear you saying it right now, they're going to come up with something very unreasonable. I'm going to set myself up for failure, and it's just going to make it worse than it already was. Okay, there are some customers that have unrealistic expectations. I'll give you that. That's in the minority, and we'll cover that in a minute. Here's what I've found, and I've asked a lot of advisors if they've ever tried this, and honestly, the stronger advisors out there have tried this, and here's what they tell me. For the most part, customers give me a reasonable amount of time, and some customers give me more time than I was even going to give myself. That's why I ask customers when they need their vehicle back. So here's what we're going to do. Go out on the drive. Don't be afraid of them. Honestly, I think most advisors do not want to ask the customer when they need their vehicle back because they're afraid of them. You cannot be afraid of your customers. They're just like a wasp. They will smell the fear on you and it'll get worse. Go out there and ask them, hey, when do you need the vehicle back? Let me see how I can work with it. Now, the ones that are unreasonable, let's talk about that because it's a real thing. If they're unreasonable, I want to know that. If I'm writing them up at 8 o'clock and I know I need until noon to get this done, if it goes well, maybe with lunches it's going to be 2 o'clock, I think it's a good idea that I find out that they think it should be done by 9. I can't get it done by 9, but we can work on the issue because the issue is the customer already has that number in their head. I promise you, when your customer drives onto the service drive, well, they don't drive on the service drive. They drive almost into the building. Somebody coaxes them in. Then they drive up into the service drive. We greet them and so on. That number's in their head when they think this service, recall, repair, install the SOP, whatever it is, that number's already in their head. So if we don't know what it is, we have no idea how to meet their expectation. Because I'm sure there's a little part of your pay plan that's tied to CSI KPI surveys of some point. And a large driver in almost every survey I've seen was the vehicle done on time. If we're trying to hit that number and we don't know what the number is in the customer's head about when the vehicle should be done, I think you can see the logic breaking down. But let me tell you what happened to me. Decades ago, I had a trainer say, hey, ask the customers when they need the vehicle back. And I remember sitting with some friends like, that guy's an idiot. That would never work. Why are you saying this? And on and on and on. So I went back to work the next Monday, young, cocky advisor. I'm going to prove that guy wrong. And you know what I did? I tried it. One of the first times I tried it, here's about how it played out. This may have shifted or changed over time inside my head. But here's what I remember. It was about 11, and the customer came in and they wanted an oil change. And back then, we could get an oil change and a service and a wash done in about an hour and a half. So, 11, 12, lunch, whatever, that kind of time frame. But they had about 30,000 miles on the car, so guess what I'm trying to sell? A 30,000-mile service. I explained to them, it's filter, fluid. Here's how much it is. They said, let's go ahead. And then I'm like, all right. They thought oil change time frame. I've got a tech in the shop that owes me a favor. There's an In-N-Out down the street. I will gladly go buy the tech lunch at In-N-Out. Coax him into working through his lunch. Get this thing done by 1:30 or so. Still not in the customer's time frame, but I got a 30K done and I saved the day. Before I went through all that, I asked the customer, and so we'll get this 30,000-mile service done. We'll get the car washed. When do I need to get it back to you? The customer asked me this question. What time do you open in the morning? That's honestly what they asked, and I thought, man, I almost went through so many gyrations and spending my money at In-N-Out for the text lunch and on and all those things. Don't bother. Find out what they want. React to that. Be brave. Communicate with your customers. You'll be able to make them happy. Hey, and by the way, I want to know how it works. You know where the comments are. Let me know.